bukas na pinagdasal mo pa ay narito na. Bawat bukas ay bago, malaking man o maliit ito. Bukas lalaban o may matutuklasan o may biyaya aalagaan. Basta't tandaan mo sa bawat bukas, nariyan ako.
Good morning. According to the great Greek philosopher Aristotle, man is by nature a social animal. An individual who is unsocial naturally but not accidentally is either beneath our notice or more than human. And anyone who either cannot lead the common life or is so self sufficient as not to need to, and therefore does not partake of society, is either a beast or a god. As medical practitioners, we are not new to building relationships with our colleagues. Needless to say, Our duty is not only limited to providing health care to our patients, but also educating the community of the importance of health and well-being. COVID-19 pandemic has posed serious threats and challenges to the way we live our lives. We are forced to maintain social distances. We have to be a recluse in order to be safe. This puts a lot of strain not only in our practice of medicine, but also to our advocacies. But in spite of these limitations, as OB-GYNs, we are resilient, innovative, and adaptive. COVID-19 pandemic will not stop us from performing our duties and responsibilities. It will not stop us from learning and updating ourselves. COVID-19 did not actually hinder our growth, but brought us into the realization it is high time we push for developments and innovations. Hence, this webinar. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending our hashtag Virtual POGS webinar. I am Dr. Maria Socorro Solis, or Dr. Cherry, and I will be your host for today. So before we start, let us ask for God's blessing and protection through a prayer, and this will be followed by our POGS hymn.
Heavenly Father, as we gather today, we are comforted by your words. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. As frontliners in the service of our patients, go in front of us, Lord, and shield us from the dangers of this pandemic, that we may continue to be extensions of your healing hands. As frontliners in the service of our trainees and colleagues, go in front of us, Lord, and inspire us to uphold the highest ethical standards of practice and professionalism. As frontliners in the service of our community, go in front of us, Lord, and show us the way to promote our various advocacies for women's health, despite the challenging times we face. As frontliners in the service of our beloved POGs, go in front of us, Lord, and lead us to the path of collaboration and unity as we seek new ways to fulfill our mission and to live out our core values of integrity, competence, accountability, compassion, and innovation. As frontliners in the service of our families, go in front of us, Lord, and prepare a future free from fears, anxieties, helplessness, frustrations, and uncertainty. Make ready for us a new normal, full of hope in your never-ending grace. We are the obstetricians and gynecologists of the Philippines, and we place all our trust in our divine healer, the frontliner of all frontliners. This we pray. Amen.
Here are my humble hands, Lord, chosen to receive your creation. Here is my open mind, Lord, learning hard to master all. I am your instrument, Lord. Hold me as I bring forth the light.
And to give her opening remarks, let us welcome our ever-dynamic President of POGS, Dr. Cristia S. Padulina.
Good morning, magandang buhay sa ating lahat. Today marks a special day for POGS. In behalf of the 2020 POGS Board of Trustees, I would like to welcome all our delegates, all our members from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. In these challenging times of COVID-19 pandemic, more than ever, as an organization, POGS needs to enhance our connectivity with each other. More than ever, we need to strengthen our communication. We might be physically apart from each other, but we should be virtually together. POGS has come a long way. We successfully celebrated our 74th Foundation Day last July 6th, and in the town hall meeting that I held, strong message has been provided that I should be able to provide each and every member of our organization the latest information, keep abreast with education and counseling, and definitely we should be strong in terms of our advocacies. I need all members of POGS to stay connected with the Mother Society, with the Subspecialty Society, and of course, with our regions. We need the POGS website. Thus, this hashtag virtual POGS is quite important. It is our way of embracing the new online normal. I posted this challenge to the head of our ICT, Dr. Ronald Cacho, to come up with a dynamic website that would be able to keep our members abreast with the latest news, information, and around everything that has to do with the mother organization. I would like each member to be a proud member of the Philippine Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, and what better way to do it than our website. So again, 3 cheers, 1 pause. Thank you.
Before we proceed, allow me to walk you through a few house rules. First, all of you attendees are put on mute, but make sure that the volume of your Zoom audio is on. If your name is not shown in your Zoom account, kindly rename your Zoom account with your full name. Feel free to ask questions using the Q&A box. Questions will be collated by the moderator and will be asked after the lecture. During the lecture, questions will be asked during the webinar, and this will be a contest. Wait for the prompt, win a gadget, type your answers at the Q&A box, and the winners will be announced after the closing remarks. Winners, you should be present online during the announcement, and you may win only once. Moving on, this particular event is the brainchild of our chair of the ICT. To give us an overview of today's activity, this is webinar 1.0, and we will have a succeeding webinar 2.0 and 3.0 by the Committee on the ICT. Let us now hear from our very tech-savvy chair of the POGS Committee on ICT, Dr. Richard Ronald Cacho. Catch?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And good morning, everyone. Magandang buhay po sa ating lahat. When Dr. Cristia Padulina assigned me as chair of the ICT, that was pre-pandemic. And now we are in a very extraordinary time. So we are challenged by Dr. Padulina to come up with dynamic programs and projects to let our members connect with each other. So we are staging all these webinars, and we are launching the POGS website to materialize these objectives. Before anything else, the webinar 1.0, the Committee on Information Communications Technology, is a committee that will launch the POGS website and will launch all these webinar programs. Okay, the main reasons for these ICT webinars is to educate our members about the basics of online technology. That's why we are going to have 3 runs for these webinars and to prepare the members for the pre-Congress and hybrid annual convention. Okay, so by the time that we are now in the pre-Congress or hybrid convention, marunong na kayong mag-gadget and you will have better experience in all these webinars. Next. And to enhance your experience during the pre-Congress and hybrid convention. Okay, so next. And to increase the exchange of information among POGS members. We will also educate you on how to tweet, how to upload your status updates, how to upload pictures in the Instagram so that we can connect better as POGS members. At this point, let me introduce to you the Committee on Information, Communications, and Technology who worked very hard to stage these programs. I am Dr. Richard Ronald Cacho, the chair of the Committee on Information, Communications, and Technology. The members are Dr. Angelica Chua, Dr. Helen Madamba, Dr. Angelito Magno or Tom Magno, Dr. Maricel Lopez, and Dr. Mark Antonio. And together with the committee also, the POG Secretary, Dr. Pilar Lagmandi, and your host, Dr. Cherry Solis. Okay, so we will now proceed to the lecture. We will have 3 runs. So the webinar 1.0 is today. So we will have 2 lectures. First, Webinar Essentials, Complete Technology and Equipment Checklist. Second is a virtual platforms in healthcare. And this is Webinar 2.0, which will be on September 10, 2020 at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Webinar 3 will be on September 27, 2020. And this will also be at 10 o'clock to 12 noon. The topics are listed as shown. Okay, so on with the show, Dr. Cherry Solis.
Thank you, Katch. We will be sure to tell our members about the upcoming webinars. As you know, all our webinars have to be finished by September because October is saved for the specialty pre-convention webinars. So we will now proceed to our lecture proper, and our moderator for today's webinar will be Dr. Angelito Magno. Dr. Magno.
Thank you, Ma'am Cherry. So before I introduce our first speaker, let me remind everyone to listen carefully to the lecture so you can answer the bonus question game later to win exciting prizes. The first person to write the correct answer will win. But remember, you can only send your answer at the chat box once I mention the phrase, win a gadget. Okay, so we have strict eyes watching. Okay, so to introduce our first speaker is a graduate of the University of the Philippines College of Medicine and had his residency training in obstetrics and gynecology and fellowship training in gynecologic oncology, both at UPPGH. He is currently the regional director of POGS Region 1. He is also the first Filipino graduate of the European Society of Abdominopelvic Surgery in Gynecologic Oncology, or ESIGON, at the Istituto Europeo di Oncologica in Milan, Italy. A person who is very tech-savvy with all his innovative gadgets and technology that he uses both for his clinical practice and his personal life. From his ergonomic examination table to electronic medical records to all his webinar paraphernalia. To talk on the technology and essential equipment behind a successful webinar, the head of this POGS Committee on Information and Communication Technology, please welcome the King in the North, Dr. Richard Ronald B. Cacho.
Okay, thank you, Tom. This is one of the topic that is very light for me because it is something I'm very passionate about. I am not a surgical techie. I am not a hardcore techie, meaning I do not know those things about the detailed electronic design, but I consider myself as a lover of gadgets and devices. In addition, I consider myself a person who would streamline a process, eliminating wastes, and getting things done with the use of devices. Ako po yan. And then let me share my slides. So this is my topic. I will be, the title of my topic is Webinar Essentials, Complete Technology and Equipment Checklist. So before anything else, let me say this disclaimer. I am not an endorser of any electronic devices. I am not paid by any company whose brand will be mentioned in this lecture. All of the statements I will be sharing with you are based on experience, my experience, results of market surveys, endorsements by bloggers, and recommendations by techies. Okay, so this is the outline. I will first tackle gadgets, devices, and connectivity basics, the importance of devices and gadgets, importance of why to choose the right devices, and also I will give you essentials checklist based on your functionality and expertise and the levels of utility. And lastly, I will give you a summary checklist. Okay, ang daming webinars, di ba? For today, we have 3 webinars going on or may ka-overlap kami. But actually, there are at least 3 webinars that will be that will happen today. There are just too many webinars. So what is webinar? Webinar is a blend of web and seminar. A webinar is an event held virtually, which is attended exclusively by an online audience. This distinguishes it from a webcast, which also includes the presence of a physical audience. Ang mga synonym ng webinars are web event, online seminar, webcast, web lecture, and virtual event. Anyway, webinars will be tackled by the next speaker, Dr. JJ Hermar, and she will talk a lot about webinars. Okay? Just to give you a short introduction lang of webinars. You need online participation when you have webinars. Participants follow webinars via a PC, Macintosh, tablets, or smartphone and can see and hear the speakers through their audio and video feeds. In addition to the video and images, PowerPoint slides or keynote slides can be broadcast, which run in sync with the rest of the presentation. You can also make use of the screen capture functionality, which enables you to show your viewers an application or website. Another feature of webinar is its being interactive. A webinar is a form of one-to-many communication. A presenter can reach a large and specific group of online viewers from a single location. Providing it is used effectively, interaction during a webinar can be very, very powerful. You can exchange all your information, the information that you want. And webinar offers various interactive opportunities. You can ask a question, you can chat, you can poll, you can make a survey, you can test, call to action, or you can also tweet. Okay? So, first, let's tackle gadgets, devices, and connectivity tools. Siguro naman marami na kayong alam tungkol sa gadgets, devices, and now the internet industry is being challenged by our president. Sana gumanda na ang ating connectivity. So what are the different kinds of gadgets or devices or connectivity tools? You have your mobile phones or your smartphones, okay? You have your laptops and desktops. You know the difference. Laptops, basically, you can place it on your lap. Yun lang yun. And desktops is a device that you can place in your desktop. Basically, a laptop can be a desktop also. Audio systems. Audio systems are your microphones, condenser microphones, dynamic microphones, your audio interface, your speakers. So we will talk about that. Lights, there are different types of lights. Lights is your lighting setup is very important to make you look good in front of the camera. And then internet and other connectivity tools. You need your Wi-Fi provider. You need your Wi-Fi extenders, okay, to have a better bandwidth. Okay? So why do we need gadgets? Bakit kailangan natin ng mga gadgets sa buhay natin? Number one, gadgets increase our efficiency. Before the invention of the telephone or the more recent emails, sending messages and letters would take days to reach its destination. The softwares used for application, the internet, and the telecommunication are nothing but technical gadgets. These gadgets actually have increased human productivity in terms of work and made the world a better place to live in. I myself is a witness kasi galing din ako sa era na walang internet, and now we are in the internet revolution, and ang ganda ng mundo natin because of these connectivity tools. Secondly, a gadget brings joy to the family. With the advent of webcam and other video accessories, staying away from family and friends is no longer painful. This is very important nowadays during the pandemic because yun nga, bawal tayong mag face-to-face interaction. That's why gadgets provided us with solutions on how to do connectivity. These gadgets can make distant things come near and makes human accessibility very easy. Number 3, gadgets make things compact. Take the example of a Swiss Army knife. It can be used as a spoon, knife, tweezer, bottle opener, fork. In a single gadget, a user can get the function of more than one product. Napakaliit niyan pero napaka-powerful. Number 4, they help in saving space. Okay? Initially, in the early years of telecommunication, the wired handsets could be positioned at a prescribed position only for connectivity. With advent in technology, mobiles were invented that allowed users the freedom to access calls when moving around. Okay? And lastly, gadgets are fun, di ba? Pang Netflix natin yan, pang music, pang Spotify natin. Okay, music systems, video games, DVD, and most important to all, of all the popular edit box, meron tayong mga kapamilya box, pero wala na yun, kapuso box, Netflix, okay? They are so fun that it actually becomes very essential to integrate them with our lives. So, why is it important to choose the right gadget? Simple lang ang answer dyan. To have the better experience during a connectivity session. Para mas maganda experience natin through sa mga webinars, when we call, when we do our video calls. Okay? So why do we need to choose the right devices again? To have a better experience, to impart the information more effectively. Okay? So these pictures are the pictures of the popular webinar lecturers. Okay, so this is my own classification of the webinar users. So I classify it into level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 being basic, level 2 intermediate, and level 3 being an expert. Okay. So, by choosing the right devices, we are making it easy for us to understand the information that is being shared through this webinar. Okay? So, let's start with the level 1 user or the basic user. Sino ba ang level 1 or basic user? Kayo po yon, mga nag-a-attend ng mga webinars na hindi naman mag-lecture or hindi naman mag-moderate or hindi naman mag-host. So you are a level 1 user or a basic user. You only need laptop or desktop and a good Wi-Fi connection. So what are the minimum requirements that you need to get the best gadget or a Wi-Fi connection para mas maganda ang streaming natin? So minsan, I also noticed that in the past webinars, there are participants that use their smartphones, okay? If you can use your smartphones, you can use your mobile phones, pero ang liit-liit kasi, ang hirap tignan, ang liliit na ng mga fonts. So, it is advisable that during the pre-Congress and the annual hybrid convention, if you want a better experience, if you want to learn more, if you want to read it better, use a laptop or a desktop. Pero smartphones can be very useful if you are in transit or nasa kotse ka. Pero in my car, kung nasa kotse ako, I use also my laptop. I just connect it to my hotspot. So, let's talk about laptop and desktops, okay? in laptop or desktops, we have different operating systems. Okay? Marami yan. Pero the two most common operating systems are your Macintosh, Mac OS X 10, and Windows. Yun lang ang kailangan yung ang kailangan yung tandaan. There are other supported operating systems, but ngayon, choose the more common ones, the Mac OS 10 and Windows 10. Okay? Okay, there are also other devices. You can use your iPad, your tablets, and other big mobile devices. Okay, so when buying a laptop or desktops, ano ba yung hahanapin nyo? Look for the processor and the RAM or the random access memory. These are the brain. This is analogous to your brain. This is likened to your brain. Yung processor is your long-term memory and your random access memory is your short-term memory. The recommended for good webinar, good connectivity, you should have a random access memory of 4 gigabytes or more. Okay? Random access memory, yan ang short-term memory para mas mabilis ang pag-compute ng computer sa moment na yon kapag you're using an application. Ang processor naman is your long-term memory. Dual core, dalawang brain, or at least pag nakikita nyo yung Intel, i3 is the minimum standard. i3 and above. Para kung gusto mo na mas mabilis, i5. Actually, may mga i9 na ngayon or higher. Okay? So, bandwidth. Let's talk about Wi-Fi connection. If you are an attendee, your bandwidth should be 1.2 megabytes per second for your Zoom. Yun ang sabi ng Zoom, 1.2 megabytes per second. Okay? How do you know that? You go to speedtest.com para tingnan nyo yung internet speed nyo, and then divide it to the number of users in your house. Let's say ang bandwidth nyo is 10 Mbps. If you have 5, 10 divided by 5, 2 Mbps per user kung gumagamit simultaneously. Okay? Again, you should have a bandwidth of at least, sabi ng Zoom, you should have a bandwidth of 1.2 Mbps or higher. Better kung mas mabilis. Okay? In short, ito lang ang gusto kong matandaan nyo. Level 1, basic user. Go for a Mac OS 10 or Windows 10. Ang processor nyo dapat is at least a dual core, 2 gigahertz or higher, or an i3 or higher processor, and a RAM of 4, random accessory memory of 4 gigabytes or more. Dapat merong internal camera, internal microphone, internal speaker, and the internet connection should be at least 1.5 Mbps. Sabi ng Zoom, 1.2, pero let's go for 1.5. And ideally, 3 or more Mbps. Okay, let's go to the level 2 or intermediate. Sino ba itong mga level 2 user or webinar users? These are your lecturers. Ito yung mga hosts. Ito yung mga moderators. Those with speaking parts during a webinar. So what do you need if you are a level 2 or intermediate user? You need a laptop again or a desktop? Lights. You need lights. Although sa level 1 kasi hindi naman kailangan ng lights, basta maliwanag lang. You need a microphone for better experience, an HD webcam, and Wi-Fi connection. Let's do it one by one. For laptops or desktops, same as level 1, but you might need to upgrade it into a PC with higher RAMs, better processor, i5 or above, or i7 or above, or Ryzen 5 and above, okay? You can screenshot this, pakita nyo lang sa mga nagbebenta ng laptops or desktops. Your lights. These are the tips for your lights. Avoid windows behind the subject. Kagaya ko, wala akong windows sa likod. Try a small on-camera light for on-the-go shoots. Those small ring lights that are portable. Try a ring light to brighten from multiple angles, and invest in a studio light kit to eliminate all shadows. Okay, your microphones. Bluetooth microphones, marami dyan. Meron din mga lapel microphones and headset microphones with headsets. Okay? So why do we need good microphones? This is to make a better audio quality. Also, again, to make to deliver your information better to your audience. Next, your webcam. HD webcam. Right now, I'm using a camera. Pero before, I was using a webcam. This brand, the Logitech brand, is a very good camera. There are so many cameras also in online shopping, sa Lazada, sa Shopee, and I find them okay naman. Okay? Now, let's go to level 3. When you say level 3 expert, these are the mga constant speakers, mga parating ini-invite as speakers. These are the vloggers, these are the live streamers, YouTubers, and you need the following: laptop, desktop, multiple screen, a condenser microphone, audio interface, DSLR camera with video capture device, complete lighting setup, and Wi-Fi connection. Let's take them one by one. Laptops or desktop for level 3, faster, bigger, random access memory, but level 2 PCs are okay. Condenser microphone. There are two types of microphone, your dynamic microphone and condenser microphone. The advantage of a condenser microphone is that it cancels background noise, and kahit malayo siya, it collects sound from the source kung saan siya nakapoint. So, condenser microphone, very good quality of audio. I am using a condenser microphone right now. Before, I was using a Smart Mic Plus. That's a very good brand also. And level 3 audio interface. To be able to give power to your condenser microphone, you need an audio interface. I am using a Focusrite audio interface. Thank you to Dr. Angeli Reyna of Pangasinan kasi wala pa yung akin. So I am using an audio interface now to give power to my condenser microphone. This is a very good device. So para lumakas yung boses. And your camera, camera. I am using a DSLR camera because it has higher resolution, mas maganda yung focal length, width, and the speed and the ISO. Mas maganda yung pick up niya. And I feel I look better with the DSLR camera. Light setup. This is very important. For level 3, you have what you call 3-point lighting. Tandaan nyo, 3-point lighting. Let's say you have this subject. Okay, you need a key light, the strongest one with the strongest light, and the fill light is the next light, and you have a backlight. The backlight will just outline your shadow or your outline. Okay, so lights, key light is the strongest light. Fill light, okay, fill light just to emphasize your shadowed area. This is another light. And backlight just to give you an outline. Para may outline. So remember, meron tayong 3-point lighting. This is the best setup if you want a good lighting setup for your webinar lectures. Okay? So this is 3-point lighting setup. Look at the difference. This one, key light plus fill, key light plus backlight. So it's if you want to look better, go for a 3-point lighting setup. So, in summary, investing in continued learning is essential for individual and organizational survival. Okay? So, we need to continually learn, pero we are restricted by the pandemic. So, we need connectivity through webinars. Continued learning is more challenging when face-to-face interactions are limited or impossible, but it is possible now because of the connectivity. Knowledge not only provides the individual with the ability to perform well, it also can provide self-esteem and self-worth beneficial for mental health, especially during this time of uncertainty. Huwag tayong magmukmok sa bahay, mag-attend tayo ng mga webinars. And there is a gadget set for every unique individual based on expertise and functionality. Okay? So level 1, basic user. Level 2, these are the intermediate user. These are the beginning speakers, yung mga beginner speakers, beginner host, beginner moderator. And the level 3 are those with advanced setups. And for level 3, you need condenser microphone, audio interface, laptop, DSLR camera with video capture device, complete lighting setup, and good Wi-Fi connection. Okay? So, before I end the official hashtags, let me just give you the official hashtags for our convention. It's hashtag POGS 2020 Hybrid and hashtag POGS 2020 Precon. We will be tackling this in another forum kung paano natin gagamitin yung mga hashtags na to. Okay? So, there is a win a gadget question. What do you call the standard lighting method setup used in webcasting, webinar, or live streaming? Again, what do you call the standard lighting method setup used in webcasting, webinar, or live streaming? Okay, so that is my last slide. Okay, so those are the official hashtags. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that very techy and insightful discussion, Dr. Cacho. I learned a lot. So at this moment, let us proceed to more of the program. So our next speaker is SGOP's Queen of Webinars. She is a professor of at the Division of Gynecologic Oncology of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, University of the Philippines, College of Medicine, and Philippine General Hospital. So she took her residency in OB-GYN and fellowship in gynae oncology at UPPGH. She then took her postgraduate course in research epidemiology and reproductive health at the Department of Reproductive Health and Research at World Health Organization at Geneva, Switzerland. She is currently taking her master's in health professions education at University of the Philippines. She is a past president of AUG in Philippines. She is a secretary of SGOP and vice president of PSCPC. And currently, she is a member of the Philippine Board of Gynecologic Oncology. She is a chief of the section of Gynecologic Oncology at St. Luke's Medical Center, Global City. Currently, she is a vice chair for medical education at the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology and vice chair of Cancer Institute of the same institution. She is the head of the Clinical Simulation Skills Unit at UP College of Medicine. So to talk on virtual platforms in healthcare, best practices in teaching, learning, and patient care, let us all welcome Dr. Maria Julieta V. Hermar.
Okay. Good morning. It's very hard to follow Cacho with all his gadgets, but my task today is to give you like an overview of the virtual platforms, what would be good in terms of our best practices in terms of a learner, which means as an attendee or participant in these webinars, or as a teacher, or even as a host during meetings. And lastly, I'll talk about a little on how you can use these platforms for patient care, in the age when sometimes we have to deal with our patients by teleconsult. Okay, so our learning objectives today is that at the end of this webinar, very simple learning objectives. You want to learn how to join a meeting, which you've done already because you're here. Learn how we conduct ourselves through these webinars. No? So what are the etiquettes? No? That's what Dr. Cacho told me to discuss about. How we can use the virtual platform, as I mentioned, for teaching activities and also for patient care. Okay, so let's start with learning first. No? So as attendees. Okay, so as Cacho mentioned, there's so many webinars now. Sometimes we have 5 webinars to attend a day. Sometimes we have multiple gadgets that are on just so we can catch up on all these things. So what do we need to do? Okay, so these are the virtual platforms that are available. So we have Zoom, we have Google Meet, we have WebEx meetings, Microsoft Teams. Before the pandemic, we didn't even know about these things, right? But now we have to be well versed. No? So we have to know more or less what platform the webinar would be using so that we know if we have these apps in our gadgets, okay? But I would be concentrating on Zoom because that's the more common one that we use a lot, and most of the webinars, like 80% of the webinars we've been joining would use Zoom, okay? All right, so first we have want to know, get to know the Zoom platform, okay? So very important is this thing, no? So when you open your Zoom, when you go to home, you will see this small thing that means settings, no? So for those of you who are like Kacho, who's very well versed, okay, so just listen. But for this is really for us, or this is how I learned it also, and this is for us who need to understand this step by step. Okay, so press settings, and then you will see. So the first thing that you would like to do is to check your profile, diba? So that's why when you're off, or when your video is off, then you have your picture there. So that's good, no? So you want to be able to see that. So you want to change this, no, to your favorite profile picture, so you can have a nice one there, okay? And then the next is you want to see general. So press general, and you want to check these. Ask me to confirm when I leave, so that when you inadvertently press the wrong button, it's confirmed. You want to leave the meeting, so that you don't have to rejoin the meeting. Show the meeting duration, add Zoom to the menu bar of your gadget so that it's easy for you to join, or it's easy for you to click it. Okay, and then this one is just the reaction skin tone. So choose your skin tone and press that. Okay, then okay, so next is the video. Okay, this is important because your video settings would determine how you would look. Like, for example, there's some webinars, if it's a small group, sometimes they ask you to be on video on. Or if you're the host, or as a participant in a meeting, you want, or you can be asked to speak, then you want to be able to have a very good video. So first, the camera, you can choose which cameras you're using. So if you're like Dr. Cacho with a lot of cameras, then you can choose which camera you would be choosing. Like, for example, is it your laptop camera? Is it your webcam? Is it a DSLR? Then you'll have to choose from here. Okay, and then mirror my video means that it sees, like, if you raise your right hand, it corresponds. Okay, and then okay, this one is very important. This touch up my appearance. Okay, so promise, okay, if you check that in Zoom, it will make a difference. It's like the beautify mode of like your Samsung. Okay, so the pores are less, etc. So touch up my appearance is very good, no? So okay, then you have your turn off my video when joining a meeting. Okay, this is very important. Okay, you want to turn off your video when you join a meeting. Why? Because di ba minsan you wake up, oh my gosh, it's a meeting at 7 a.m. Okay, so you want this, turn it off. So check this box, because why? So that should you join the meeting and you're not ready, then you won't be joining it inadvertently, showing your face, just you woke up like this face. So make sure that it's turned off, or this is clicked. Okay, all right. Next is, you also want to make sure, so you press audio. Okay, and then you want to make sure that you join audio by computer when joining a meeting. Okay, so you don't get paranoid na, oh, wala bang audio, or ako lang yung walang audio. So if you check this in your settings, then you know that you have audio by default. Okay, so if sometimes they started quiet, then you know that it's the host and not you. All right. Next, you want to press, you want to press this one, advance. Okay, advance, you want to check this. Why? Because you want to, for audio processing, you want to make sure that there's echo cancellation, there's no intermittent background noise, and there's no persistent background noise. So you press, you press a drop-down menu, and then you will see, you make it aggressive. So this will cancel all background noises, all echoes. Okay. Then next would be this one. Again, the same principle as the video, that you don't want the video on when you join the meeting. You also don't want the audio on by default, I mean the microphone on by default, so that you can enter the meeting quietly. Okay, so you don't enter and disrupt everybody in case you have a dog, for example, or you have the TV on. And then now with our kids attending online classes, you don't want to enter a meeting and then hearing for example, the noise from your son's laptop, for example. Okay, then okay, so that's why this thing below Zoom, okay, so that's why I've been pertaining to Zoom, is because, as I said, this is what we use all the time, diba? These things below, the unmute and the video button, is your best friend. No? You have to make sure that this doesn't that serves a purpose. If it's muted, it's muted. If you need to turn it on, you know you're on as well. Okay, so again, so when you see these things, alam mo, you're safe. You're not heard and you're not seen. Okay, so when you're a participant, usually this is how it should be. Okay, now in case you're in a meeting and it's your turn to speak, or you're the speaker, the next speaker, like now, you're the next speaker, you want to make sure that this time your camera is on, or your video is on, and your microphone is on. So sometimes you get impatient when you see some of the speakers or some of the participants speaking and then they're muted. No? So parang nangalahati na yung sinasabi niya, muted pala siya. So always be aware of the symbols. No? So again, so pag ganito, you're heard, you're seen. And then if it's like this, then you're not heard, you're not seen. So which is safest when you're just a participant. Okay? All right. So tips. Always test your gadgets beforehand. No? So all those things Dr. Cacho mentioned as a level 1 participant, for example, make sure that you've tested it before you even start the webinar or you even start the meeting, even if you're just joining as a participant. And then, this is important. We are all professionals, we are all doctors. Treat every event that you attend, whether it's a webinar or a meeting, treat it like it's in person. Like, for example, you dress like you were meeting in person. So, kahit nasa bahay tayo, you try to be decent. No? You don't have to like wear a gown or be in a formal attire, but just dress decently, because sometimes even webinars, sometimes the hosts will say, okay, turn the video on, like for picture taking, or we want to see the participants, or raise your hand, for example, so that if you have to turn on the video, then you're properly or decently dressed. Okay. Gear up. No? So Cacho mentioned that already. He mentioned the whole array of all the gadgets that you would need. Okay. Then this one, clean up. Read your background of distractions. So parang be aware of what the video can see. No? Like for example, if you're listening in your room, make sure that if the bed is behind you, that it's very well made. No? Hindi yung ang gulo-gulo pala ng bed behind you, or you're in your office but all your papers are dumped behind you. So make sure that you're aware what your co-participant or the others would see should you have to turn your video on. Or if you're the speaker, lalo na, no? So you have to be aware of what can be seen. All right, then, now, if you're in a hurry, let's say, oh my gosh, hindi ko ba naayos yung kwarto or my office, and then I have to be in a meeting and baka mag-video on, then choose a virtual background. So again, in the settings part, you press virtual background and you will see that you can choose. Now you can even take a picture of your favorite, let's say, building or view or your institution, and then you can save this and you can pick it as a virtual background. Okay, so you can do that also. And then, okay, virtual meeting etiquette. So this time, we all learned this. No? So parang sabi ko nga, crash course during the pandemic, that we had to learn about all these online conferences. So we have to learn how to conduct ourselves. So First, as I've said, ensure that you download the necessary online platform. So kung hindi Zoom, kung WebEx siya, kung Microsoft Teams, it's good to download it as soon as you've heard about that webinar that you want to attend. Or if it's a meeting, you ask the host what platform they'll use. And then when they send you the link, make sure that you've downloaded the app long before the date, okay, so that you're ready. And then usually you're asked to register, so don't complain. For example, the webinar is on at 10 and then suddenly at 10 you can't enter because you didn't register. So most of the webinars now ask you to register, so make sure you register beforehand, especially if you're very interested in the topics, because sometimes they limit the number of participants. Okay, then you may want to link the schedule to your calendar so that you don't forget, and then you log in a few minutes before the event. Diba parang when we were students, or when we attend even face-to-face like postgraduate courses before, you go like 10-15 minutes before the time, diba? So you get a good seat so that you're comfortable. You do the same for these online platforms, okay? Okay, ensure that your mic is muted. Diba? I mentioned that already. Make sure that yun na nga, nakita mo na it's muted when you enter the room, and that your audio is turned on. You may use your headphones, no, or earphones. Usually it provides better clarity and audio reception. And then you place your cell phones. This is important. Place your cell phones and other gadgets that you have all around your room or your table on silent mode so that you have no distractions. And then minimize your distractions. Like lalo na if you're a speaker or if you're attending a meeting, then tell everybody in the house that you are in a meeting or you are in a webinar, so that nobody suddenly comes in while you're talking, or nobody distracts you. Okay, so reminders. Again, act as if, parang when in doubt, act as you would in a face-to-face meeting or lecture. So you pay attention, you be comfortable. Okay, so pay attention, like as a courtesy to the speaker, make sure that you pay attention even if you're not seen or heard, diba? So that's courtesy, diba? So, and then be comfortable, like the good thing now is we can be seated in our couch. Sometimes you want to be seated on the floor while holding your laptop. But please stay seated or in a decent position. Why? Because what if inadvertently mabukas yung video and you're lying down? So please do not lie down, or do not be caught in a compromising position, or in a position that medyo not decent or something. Because why? Because well, of course, we're all professionals. Plus, yun na nga, accidents can happen. Parang you didn't know you pressed the button and the video on ka pala, and everybody can see you in that position. So it's good to be decent all the time, just to be sure. Okay. So again, please do not lie down during webinars. Okay, if you will eat or drink, make sure that the video is off or the mic is off. So sometimes, minsan buong araw webinars na, so alangan naman you won't eat. But if you will have to eat, then as I've said, make sure video on, mic off, so that nobody can hear you, nobody can see. So because again, it's courtesy. If you need to leave for a moment, let's say it's a meeting and then you need to leave for a while, and then the meeting is ongoing, you don't have to butt in and say, oh, teka, I have to leave. Okay, so you have to either say so in the chat box, I'll show you later, or press the icon. And please do not multitask. Okay, so we've seen webinars where people are multitasking, so dinala nila yung phone or laptop in the bathroom, brush their teeth, and everybody saw, or worse, they use the toilet. So don't multitask. Like, or sometimes you know you're fixing things, but you have a tendency to be distracted, and if you were really interested in the webinar, then it would be best to stay focused. Okay, so okay, if you need to leave for a moment, say so in the chat box. Okay, or you can press the icon. So if you press for Zoom, if you press the participants button, you will see here icons that you can say, like coffee, which means you just got coffee, or this clock, which means that you just went out for a while, or parang time out for you. So that in case it's a meeting and then they say, Doctora, may we hear what you think? They will know that, oh, pala, you left for a while. Okay, so just to be courteous again. Okay, then if meeting is conducted with videos on, do so. So again, minsan they will say, okay, and it's courtesy also if, let's say, everybody in the meeting naka-video on, that means that ikaw then, you're expected to be on video on. Okay, so turn on your video, but please be aware at all times, meaning you're aware of this icon that everything is on. So if you're not, if you have to be quiet if you have to be quiet, and then you are aware that everybody can see what you're doing. Okay, type questions in the Q&A or chat box. If you're a participant, in most cases we ask you to type your questions in the chat box so that you don't disrupt the lecture or the meeting. If allowed to speak, for example, some meetings would say, okay, the small meetings, the host will say, okay, may I hear from the participants? Then you can raise your hand and you can speak. Okay, then you can turn on your microphone. And for all webinars and all meetings, stay until the end. And if you need to leave, you ask permission, but stay until the end as courtesy to the speakers and the meeting participants. Okay? Okay, so we're finished with learning virtual platforms as a learner or as a participant. Now let's go to teaching. So we don't all have to be teaching in a university, but sometimes we handle like small groups na dati. If we have to do bedside rounds to the residents, that's enough. Now we may not have to be there, but we can teach them. Right? Small groups, we can use the platform, diba? For teaching and for doing rounds with your residents or for students. Okay, so as a teaching tool, the things that you should remember, you can schedule. I'll show you later how you schedule in the Zoom application your desired date and time, and then you can send the invite to the people you want to attend. Diba? Actually, ngayon nga, kahit nga for social events, you can even use the Zoom, right? And then join, if you're going early as a participant, all the more if you're the host. So at least 20 minutes before or 30 minutes before to make sure that everything is in order. And then preset your meeting to mute participants. So you can preset the meeting so that when they enter, they're muted already. Okay, and then look at the camera the whole time. It's a hard thing to do, and we started doing these lectures. It was so hard to talk to the camera kasi wala kang kausap. But you have to look at the camera just so you can engage the audience. Okay, so and then take a second to check the chat. Be aware of the chat box if you're the one hosting, so you can see whether there are questions on yun pala the whole time they couldn't hear you. That's good practice to see. And then speak as if you're in a face-to-face class. It takes a while, but you will get used to it, that as if you're talking to your usual lecture, or you're talking to your usual colleagues in a meeting. Pretend, diba? Parang you're looking at the camera. When you look at the camera, it's as if you're looking at them. And then take a moment to say, okay, like now, I should take a moment and say, okay, I hope you are understanding what I'm saying, and you can see what's shown in my slides. And then they say embrace the pause. Take a moment after the end of your comments and allow the students or the ones you're meeting with to comprehend what you said, especially if it's something important and you feel that they should comprehend it better, or if you want them to reflect on it, then you take a pause. Okay, so this is mentioned by Katja, so just go through it very fast. Make sure that your room is well lit. Now, if you're the one hosting or the one speaking, your laptop computer should be at the eye level. So it should be elevated, diba? So that you don't look down. So it's also better and more flattering for you if you look at the eye level. Check your background, as I've mentioned. Use your earphones. Use a microphone. Make sure that the area is quiet. There's no background noise. There's no one. There's no dog, for example, in the background that they can hear. Check your internet connection, and then your phone should be in silent mode. And before you start, you prepare all the materials for sharing. No? Like this morning, we were on 2 hours before, and then we were making sure that all our documents were on our desktop, so that when we share, it's already prepared. So you do that also. Okay, so this is the setup. No? So Katja showed you this, but I'm showing you naman as as the presenter, no? So you very, very, it I think is level 1, no? 1.5. So you have a ring light, you have your laptop, you have another gadget to see, parang access a monitor, you have your water to make sure na pag naubo ka, you have something there, okay? And then, okay, so let's go through the things that are in Zoom. No? So as I've said, be patient, because for those who know already, then just listen. The others who don't know, we have to go through this one by one. Okay. So so this is the one that you will see in Zoom, right? So we will go through all the features that will help you as a speaker and as a host. No. Okay. So sharing your PowerPoint presentation, very basic, diba? But just for us to understand. Okay, so first, you look at this button. This is the share screen, diba? So this is what you press when you want to show your PowerPoint. Okay, and then you also check this part. So there's a smaller arrow beside it, and you can check that one participant can share the time. If you want, if you're the teacher and you're doing this with students, you want to be the one to share only, no? So para nobody disrupts, na biglang everybody can share. Or if it's a meeting with colleagues and you want to share your presentations, then you can check multiple participants can share simultaneously. So that's another thing, okay? Then open all the documents. For example, it's a meeting where you will be presenting a PowerPoint or a Word file, then it should be open in your desktop so that when you press share, you can choose from among these which ones you will be presenting. Let's say PowerPoint muna, tas mamaya you're going to show, let's say, the budget and it's in the Word file, then you press Word. Okay. All right. Then next, if it's an important meeting, let's say it's a meeting with colleagues, then you record the lecture. So you can press record over here. Okay? All right. Then don't forget. Okay, so syempre, di ba sabi ko lagi, mute when you're the participant, but when you're the one speaking, make sure that you're unmuted and you've started the video. Okay, so that everybody can hear you and see you as the lecturer or as the host. Okay. And then this one is for those who give lectures, no? So a lot of us dati parang we didn't need to do these things, but now we need to know how. Okay, so using the presenter view so you can view your notes, diba? So we are used to lecturing in a face-to-face meeting, then we are in a face-to-face lecture, and then we have the presenter view so we can see our notes, diba? So how can you do that in Zoom? Okay, so when you press share screen, so press again this green button, and then you will see press advanced. Okay, so you have there the tabs of basic, advanced, and then files. You press advanced, and then you will see here it says portion of screen. Okay, portion of screen means that that is the portion that will be seen by your audience. Okay, so click presenter view. So this is now your presenter view. This is your PowerPoint in presenter view. Then you click that portion of screen, then you will see a green rectangle there. See? So this is the green rectangle which your viewers can see, right? So you put it there in your first slide. Okay, this is your first slide. Then you adjust accordingly. So kasha siya. So that you're sure that the green screen is seeing the entire slide, and then you can see the first slide, the next slide, and your notes, but the participants can only see what is the first slide. Diba? So presenter view ka, pero your participants can see only what is in the green rectangle. Okay, so that's how you can use presenter view for Zoom. Okay, now, what if you want to use it for pointers, annotations, diba? Like for example, like you're showing this to your students, and even later for patients, now you can use this. Let's say you want to say, okay, you want to explain the pathology. You can use also Zoom. So again, so here you can see the sharing, and then you will see here we have the mouse, etc. Draw. Okay, so you can see all these for annotate. So you press annotate, and then you will see these things. Okay, so very briefly, so press draw, you will see this. You can draw curvy lines, thick curvy line, an arrow. Okay, and then so this one, you can press an arrow, to show, okay, this is the ovary, ganyan, okay. And then you clear the drawings to go to the next annotation. So for example, you want a stamp, which is a thicker arrow or a bold arrow. Then there, see, you can use it and say, okay, this is the cervix, ganyan, okay. And then spotlight, for example, you want to use it as a pointer, no? So a red pointer to show where the fundus is, for example, and then there. So you can use that as for annotation and as parang a laser pointer, okay? And then, but remember, you have to clear all your drawings before you go to the next slide. Otherwise, that arrow will be there for the next slide. Okay, so clear and then go to the next slide. Okay, next is how to use the whiteboard. Okay, so as I've said, these platforms are very useful for a lot of things, for teaching, and even the whiteboard, you can use it when you explain things to your patients or you explain things during a meeting. Okay, so press the share screen, press again that green button, and then you can show this one. So again, you can see here whiteboard, okay? And then, so you can start drawing, no? So you can use, let's say you want to use black first, and then a curvy line that's thin, then there. So pardon my drawing, pero ganyan. Kanyari uterus and ovaries, di ba? And then you want to show this time the endometrial lining. Okay, so there. So you choose the red one, and then a thicker line, and then you show this. Di ba? So now you can say you have a thickened endometrium. Okay. Okay, then you can even put in a text here, text, and then you put, okay, type endometrium so that your patient or your student can understand what you were actually drawing, okay? All right, and then enabling annotation. What does it mean? Di ba kanina you annotated yourself? What if you're asking a question from the student and you want him to be able to say, okay, so this time it's your turn, okay? So draw, let's say, implants of endometriosis. So you enable attendee annotation, and your student can make drawings on your drawing on the whiteboard also. Okay. Okay. Now, win a gadget. So break lang to before the last part of the lecture, very briefly. So win a gadget. Paulit-ulit ako dito kanina. So this one, what is this? So you tell us what this is. This icon, what does it stand for, and answer in the Q&A box. The first one who answers will get a prize. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, so hopefully you got the answer, and then later we will announce who is the winner. So I'll wait 2 more seconds before I panoso because I have the answer here. So 1001, 1002, 1003. Okay, hopefully somebody answered already. Okay, so it's a share screen button. No? So paulit-ulit yan kanina. So that means it's a share screen button. In the Zoom bar, it's green, but in the home page, it's the blue bar. Okay? Okay, lastly, patient care. Okay, so Dr. Tom Magno, our moderator now, he will have a webinar on telemedicine. And he's our medical informatics guy, so he will tell you about the document of telemedicine for the Filipino clinicians. He will talk about it in detail. This is my task is just to show you its use, or the use of the virtual platform in patient care. So I'll just give you best practices, which I do. No? So I don't claim to be the expert, but I use Zoom in my telehealth platform. Okay, so who can practice telemedicine? It says there in the document, no, na any physician with a valid license. So dapat valid yung license nyo, ha? Valid license from the Philippine Professional Regulation can be a telemedicine practitioner. Okay. So some countries such as the US, they've relaxed, no? Kasi dati parang kailangan make sure that it's compliant, etc. So, but they've included Zoom. There's a Zoom healthcare, but there's also the free Zoom. It's allowed, no? Especially during this pandemic, okay, to be used in teleconsults. Okay, so in virtual clinics, telemedicine should be used to provide access to patients who cannot see a physician within a safe and acceptable time frame. So, for example, now in Metro Manila, it's still very useful to use telemedicine because there are still restrictions, no? And it's still, the numbers are quite high still. Tapos, the physician should be able to recommend in-person consult. So it doesn't replace in-person consult. You should be able to advise it should it be necessary. Okay? And the following need to be considered: patient privacy and security, data ownership, possible erosion of the patient-physician relationship, because syempre, you're in your home and she can see, etc. So professional boundaries may be a bit, so you have to be very careful. So we'll go through some points later. No? Okay, so what I do, so this is parang like my best practices for me. No? So I'm just sharing it with you. Again, Dr. Magna will talk to you about the details and the options that you can do also. So usually my medical secretary contacts patients for the virtual visit. We have an informed consent form, a Google form that is like the chart, and then she gets her lab results. If they did it outside of the hospitals where I practice, if it's from the hospitals where I practice, then we get it from the EMR. And then if I ask them to monitor their blood pressure or their blood sugar, then they have a list of it, and then so she gives it to me all through like my Viber, so that I can file this. Okay, I know like Dr. Kacha uses other platforms like a Serious MD, but I find that Zoom works for me and my secretaries and my patients, because some of my patients, it's easier for them to do this rather than going through a platform. So I use this, no? Okay, so okay, so if for your virtual clinic, make sure you have a clear video so that they can see you. Hindi siya malabo, okay? Because it's very important that the patient sees you as her doctor. No? So there should be optimal visualization. You have to look professional. If I told you earlier that you have to look decent in the meetings, for your clinic, you have to look professional. If you want to wear your blazer, fine. You don't have to wear it, but don't wear house clothes when you have your clinic, even if you're at home. And then you should have good lighting, as I've said, no? Okay, privacy should be assured. No? So tell her that okay, so we are in a room. I'm in a quiet room. There's nobody else here. You can so that she feels that she can, because our specialty is such that it's very private. Diba? We ask about first coitus. We ask about sexual practices. We ask about a lot of things that could be very, very invasive or very private. So you have to assure her that. Then again, no distractions. So don't hold a clinic, hold your virtual clinic like in the dining table, and then people are going in and out, because you'll be distracted, and she can see that you are distracted. It has to be a quiet place. It has to be a safe place. No? Tell her nobody else is here, safe. No, and you have to have good documentation. Okay, those platforms being offered, let's say Serious MD, they have good documentation, so that's good as well. Okay. But you can also make your own documentation. Like me, it's a hybrid. I also write down some things, and not everything is online. Okay, then this is my setup naman for my clinic. So this is how, my iPad would show me I open the lab results there, and then this is the Zoom ongoing with the patient. And yun nga, no? So since I'm dark, I have like 5 lights. So, and even if it's an open area, no? So this is a light also. And then there's water, diba, syempre. And then I write down notes, and this is my notebook for the patients I see. Of course, I put them on file also in my laptop, but I write down things, and those who are my age or older would probably like that better, because I am used to, but I feel it's better documented written. Okay, so but that's me. Okay, so how do I schedule the meeting? So in Zoom, diba, this icon over here is behind. You press that's schedule. Okay, then you in the topic you put your name, and then you say Dr. Kacha's virtual clinic or Dr. Magna's virtual clinic, and then the date, yeah, so date, time. So usually the free Zoom is like 30 minutes. So you put, let's say 10 a.m. to 10:30, and then press schedule. And then what happens is there you can copy the invitation of the link That's the link that you copy and then you send it by Viber. What I do, I send it by Viber to my secretary and my secretary sends it to a patient. Now, yun lang, precaution. What I do is 10 o'clock, send ko na, 10:30, 11. Wag pala. Kasi what happens is, at 10 o'clock, while you're talking to a patient biglang enters, but not naman enters, no, but in the waiting room. Pero pwede rin if kung kaya niyong gano'n. No, kasi I don't like people waiting. So parang what I do na lang, I'll just send it as I start. So kunyari 10 minutes before 10:30, I send the next link. So because this link will be, parang it's not unique. So you have to make sure that you give it to the patient that you're going to see. Although, as I've said, they can't naman intrude because you will see them in the waiting room. Okay? All right. So next, a few slides na lang. Mind your website manners. Okay. So, di ba, bedside manners. So, ngayon, since we're online, it's website manners. Okay. First, introduce yourself to the patient. No? So, like, lalo na if she's a new patient, you say, I'm Dr. Hermar. Okay, so good morning. I'm happy to see you. So, what can I do for you? Di ba? So, parang the same way in the clinic, but this time, parang more animated because you're online. Then you put her at ease. No? So I mentioned already what would make her at ease, assure her of privacy, etc. And then look at the camera and focus on her. So if you look at the camera, it's like looking at your patient. But you have eye contact with your patient. So engage her the whole time. Try not to be distracted, not looking around, or like when she's talking, nakaganon ka na. Parang make sure that she feels that you are interested in what she's saying and be aware of her body language. No? So don't be like slouching away, or just make sure that you focus on her and smile. No? Because like for us, for gynecologic oncologists, most of our patients are scared to see us. So you smile so that she feels comfortable. And then speak clearly and slowly. So especially if senior citizen and she can't probably hear you, make sure that you clearly explain what goes on, make it slow, and then you set the agenda. You will say that, okay, this first visit, we will talk about all your results, and then after this, I will order this and that, then we will plan your surgery in the next visit. So she knows the expectations for your 30-minute consult. Usually, it's 30 minutes. Sometimes, when it's a new case, we get to 45 to an hour, but I find that online, it takes longer than usual, no? Then this one, allow family members to join if the patient requests, no? So ngayon it's so easy, biglang nandiyan na bigla yung buong pamilya, 'di ba? Dati, 'di ba nga Filipinos, they come with their barangay or their whole family, lalo na ngayon kasi they're at home, no? But what you can do is, let's say, make sure that the patient wants it, no? Na she'll say, Doctora, may I have my husband here, or my mother, or my daughter? Make sure that she wants it, okay? Also be very observant if hindi pala niya gusto, di ba? So kung ayaw niya, you can just say, okay, it will be just me and the patient first, then we'll just call you later, di ba? And then make sure that she introduces everybody in the room so that you know if there anybody else listening pala, especially if it's a sensitive topic, okay? So there. So then express empathy, be aware of your facial gestures, your voice quality, and your tone. No, like if she's crying because of your diagnosis, you try to comfort her by your tone, by your face, and be aware of her facial gestures, her tone, and her voice quality. If she's weak, if she has something that she couldn't tell you pala because she's now with her mother or with her husband, then be aware of those signs. Inform your patient. Kunyari, me, when I look at my lab results here, I tell her, wait, I'll look at the lab results. Para she knows that I'm not answering my text or whatever, I'm looking at her lab results. And then, or if you're referring to an ultrasound picture, then you may share the screen and show her the ultrasound. And then listen and give her time to ask questions, okay? Okay, so usually it's like this, the setup. You can press the gallery view in Zoom so that you're side by side, so you can see her as you speak to her. Okay, then you can use the whiteboard to illustrate her condition or the pathology. You can use this one to annotate and show her, ito po yung cervix nyo or yung kwelyo ng matres, di ba? So there. And then, okay, so wala tayong virtual internal exam, of course, no? So I'm just showing you this because this is in that document, and they showed that you can do a virtual physical exam. But of course, our limitation is we don't have a virtual IE or a virtual pelvic exam. Okay, but I just wanted to show you this so that you know that for other subspecialties or other specialties that it can be done. No? But as clinicians, you can see naman, is she pale, di ba? Does she have difficulty in breathing, etc. Okay. Okay. Lastly, for the patients, so summarize key points and instructions. For example, o sige, misis, so ulit. So you make her repeat what you said. Kunyari for us, when we say, okay, for chemo radiation po kayo. So una, you go to the radiation oncologist. So ganyan. So you make her repeat what you said so that you're sure that she got the instructions. Kasi it's different nga kasi you're online. And then provide closure. So kailangan alam niya tapos na. So you say, okay, so I'll see you after 1 week when you get the results. So, sige, Mrs., thank you, and I'll see you again. So that may closure. And one thing that we notice now a lot, even in meetings and with patients, is you wave. You wave to say goodbye. Sige po, bye-bye po, Mrs., and then you end, okay? And then, remember, so last 2 slides, I think. Remember your professional fees. Should it be more? Should it be less? Kasi online, it's up to you to decide that. No? So you consider the patient's finances, the nature of the case, how much time you've given or you've consumed, and then your level of expertise. Okay, recognize that there are limitations to teleconsult, and then you can be very, very careful with malpractice risks. No, because you want to be safe. No, you want to protect yourself also. So make sure that you document every encounter with the patient and that the limitations of teleconsult is recognized by you. Okay. After clinic, what I usually do is I give them the lab request, the prescription. I send it to my secretary, so my secretary sends it to them as well because the first engagement was through the secretary. So also when they leave, parang ganun din, parang pag lumabas sila ng clinic mo, they go to the secretary, right? So the secretary gives everything to her, and then if it's necessary to see her, like for example, for us, we need to do, let's say, a biopsy on this patient, then I can see her. So you use teleconsult also to screen your patients, especially in this pandemic. So that the face-to-face consult is shorter, and then schedule your follow-up. Okay, so I think that's the last. So okay, so we went through these, no? So how to join, how to be a participant, how to use it for teaching, and then how to use it for patient care. So thank you very much for your time, and we will see you in our annual convention, in the pre-congress and in the main congress. Thank you, and good morning.
Thank you, Ma'am JJ, for that very timely sharing. So those important things must be remembered by our viewers or participants. So remember, these webinars we attend to are recorded and posted in like FB or YouTube. So imagine if you're recorded in very embarrassing situation. So make sure naintindihan nyo lahat yung sinabi ni Ma'am JJ. Okay. So may I ask Dr. Cacho to please join me and Dr. Hermar for the question and answer portion. All right. Sige. So actually we have several questions already. So one, probably this is for Dr. Cacho or maybe Dr. Padolina also. So can such committee, like the ICT committee, control the scheduling of webinars in a way that there's no overlapping of web schedule? We know that. And second, automatic issuance of certificate of attendance if we can. So ano ba bakit ba hindi automatic usually? If we can.
That was my suggestion before.
Ay, Sir Mike mo.
Okay, hello?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, that was my suggestion before. That was a suggestion before to centralize the scheduling of webinars. Pero you can control it. There are also international schedules. Like right now, we have another webinar, international ang location. So you can't really control the schedule. Pero when we schedule webinars kasi, the organizers research also on I call the SOG Secretariat to look for overlaps. So, umiiwas din kami sa mga overlaps. Ganyan. Pero it's a good idea to centralize the schedule. I don't know if Dr. Christian Padolina kung paano niya gagawin din yan.
Siguro, sir, kasi kung POGs and committee of POGs, because we only have one Zoom subscription, so you cannot have overlapping webinar. Pero we cannot answer sa mga ospital, sa ibang institution, kasi hindi naman sila under POGs, and other society also. Ma'am Christia?
Yes, thank you, Tom. Actually, this has been discussed in the POG's Board of Trustees meeting. We will post the schedule so that our members will know what they would like to join, but we will not control them because, of course, it's a matter of choice for the members where they would like to go into. But definitely, we will, post the schedule so that everyone is on their, they choose which one they like, and the organizers also would see the competitor, so to speak. Number two, we will devise a means so that automatically there is already a feedback in terms of giving of certificates. We will do that.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And
So,
in addition to
yes.
that, Tom, the schedules are posted in the Facebook also. Sa POG's official Facebook page and also in the POG's website.
Okay. Thank you. So, actually, madaming webinars. So, second question, sir. Probably Ma'am JJ, to Ma'am JJ. Ayun. So, how come even if I register ahead of time when it's pero on the day of the webinar, and when he or she types the ID number, I am again required to register, and sometimes I'm not allowed to enter. Ano kayang problem niya?
Usually, it could be the host, no? Kasi dapat when you register already in a webinar, then they already have your data and it will be easy. Although, yeah, I experienced that also, no? So it would be good nga. That's why you give yourself ample time. Like, for example, you've already registered 2 weeks ago, but you try to join like 10-15 minutes before, so that should you have to register again, then you may do so. But at least for POGs being hosts of these webinars, in most cases yung POGs webinars, marami na akong problem with entering if I've already previously registered. So sometimes it happens, but it shouldn't happen. So that's
Probably.
why the key is parang yun nga, give yourself time so that hindi ka magpanic na start na hindi ka pa naka-register. Kasi minsan nga they ask you to register again. Yeah.
Ma'am, siguro probably kasi maraming mga links na pinopost sa mga Viber groups natin.
Baka nagkalito-lito na.
Oo. So probably kung mag-webinar na kiniklik mo yung registration link, just click the confirmation link doon sa email mo. Usually sa email yun pinapadala yung confirmation letter for you to enter the Zoom.
Yes, because if you press register, you're correct, Tom. If you press the same link you use for
To register.
Mag-register ka nga ulit.
Oo nga. So, go to your email, tapos doon mo makukuha.
Correct.
Okay. So, next question. So, how do you protect yourself from hackers when you use Zoom platform? So, I am worried about it because I'm using mobile banking using the same gadget. So, should I delete the app after the Zoom meeting to protect at least when I don't use the app the same time I do mobile banking?
Usually naman if you use Zoom like now and then you turned it you've logged out already, it shouldn't be a problem. And then also initially, diba, at the start of this pandemic, there were like Zoom for a while was not allowed for some universities, for example, because of hackers. But it's been corrected in the newest versions of Zoom naman. So you're protected in terms of that. That's why all these webinars would have a link, a unique link, and your password, di ba, given. That's why nga you register also para you're protected from other people entering the meeting na who are not supposed to be there. But her specific question is the banking. I don't think it will matter, especially if you've logged out of Zoom.
Pero
One-
for me, to be safe, use your mobile banking in your cell phone. Don't use like Google or Zoom in your cell phone. Use your Zoom in like laptop or tablet. Mas protected ka with firewalls or security of the computer.
Or
Sir Katz?
use a dedicated email just for Zoom. Yung mga web.
Don't use it don't use it for your it shouldn't
Banking.
be your email for everything. Yeah.
Okay. So next question, Ma'am JJ, how do you put virtual background? I think you mentioned this, but
Yeah, I showed that na.
short.
So just go to settings, and then virtual background. Or you can press the video icon below in the Zoom, okay, and then you will see there an option for virtual background, and press it, and then you can choose any picture that you want to be your virtual background.
Okay. So paglaruan nyo yung setting, pwede nyong i-try.
Yeah.
Tapos next, Ma'am JJ, do you inform speaker who have exceeded the allotted time during the lecture, and how do you do that?
Usually, what we do is, yan, like ngayon, kaya lang di ko nakita. Pero sabi ko naman 35 to 40 minutes. But usually, pagka talaga sa chat box, like for Zoom sa chat box, or we have moderators, or we have plan Bs. Like kumari yun nga, if anything goes wrong and the host will have to communicate with you, it's through the Viber, for example, so that you have parang open communication lines with moderators.
Okay. So actually, we still have a lot of questions. Maybe yung lecturers will answer that, and then we'll send you the answer. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Cacho, Ma'am JJ, for the wonderful lectures. So now we're going to have the Win a Gadget bonus questions. Okay. Can we have the Win a Gadget question? Okay, so are you ready? Make sure to type the correct answer at the Q&A box, not the chat box, but the Q&A box. And the first person to answer in the Q&A box will win. So just wait for my Win a Gadget praise, ha? Wag mo nang sasagot. Okay. So next slide. So give 3 basic gadgets, 3 answer or devices that you need to become level 3 webinar. Okay. So as Inspector Gadget says, go Win a Gadget. Waiting for answers. Okay.
Okay.
Ang hirap kasi tatlong answers, Sir Cacho. So
Madali lang yan.
okay.
Level 3 webinar
Level
expert. Dapat level 3.
Microphone, mga ganon.
Medyo ba?
Laptop, microphone.
Kasama ba dapat yung
Mga ganyan.
Dapat you included how much is it to have a level 3?
Lazada is cheap. Shopee is cheap. Marami doon. There are so many possibilities.
Dapat pala sinabi mo yung more or less the cost of a level 1, level 2.
Game, i-type nyo na laptop,
Okay.
lights, microphone.
Meron na the winner. Okay.
Oh,
So next,
may winner na raw.
so later natin sasagutin and then the winner. Okay. Next question. So who can practice telemedicine? Go in a gadget.
Check lang namin if you were listening. Dali-dali.
Oo nga.
Mm.
Madali lang yan, parang nasa last part. O, clue daw, Ma'am JJ, clue.
Grabe. Dapat lang na-renew.
Yun. Important yun.
Expired. Hindi
Oo.
pwede expired.
Tatanungin ng patient yun.
Dapat hindi expired kasi, you can be sued.
Hindi ka makakuha ng PhilHealth. Pag expired.
May winner na ba?
Go, win a gadget.
Ang ganda ng gadget na to.
Waiting for, oo nga eh.
Grabe. Isa yan sa mga
Nasabi ko.
Wow!
Wow, Kacho! Yan ba
Oh
yung
my.
live?
Hindi ko alam.
500 Mbps internet
First
connection.
shot, correct answer wins.
Correct answer wins. Oy, grabe. Wala pa. Mas alam na nila yung gadget kesa sa telemedicine.
Ako kasi magre-renew ako ng PRC ko next
Ay,
year.
grabe. Wow, we have a winner!
We have a
Okay.
winner. Sige.
Sige. Next question. Maybe ito na yung last, no? So next question, please. So identify the following platforms.
Yan na.
So you need to answer all. Ha?
Dapat lahat, all four, you should be able
All
to say.
four. Okay, so go in a gadget.
In order ba?
Ang galing ni Tom.
Kahit hindi siguro, sir.
Oo, kahit hindi.
Ano the four? Okay, kasi
Basta four.
important that, nilagay ko yan
Oo nga, correct.
Kasi yan yung top four na ginagamit ngayon sa mga webinars.
Lagi itong ginagamit. Yan.
Hindi ko sasabihin kung alin dyan ang favorite ko.
Nga.
Pero we tried lahat. Yung pangalawa ginagamit ko sa classroom actually.
Yeah, maganda siya. Pero yung platform niya hindi as
Oo.
Tama. Yung pangalawa is blank classroom, blank forms.
May email din sila, di ba?
Very, very popular as a browser. Meron pang doctor, blank.
Oo nga.
Yung
Wala
third
pa rin
naman,
winner.
yung third, si Spider-Man yan eh.
Oo.
May ganon. May ganon.
Mm-hmm.
Yung fourth. Uy, may winner! Galing!
May winner
Okay.
na.
So may winner na. All right. So later, before the closing, we will announce the answers and the winners of the five questions, no? Okay.
Yes.
So,
5 winners.
okay. So that ends the Q&A portion and the Win a Gadget bonus question game. So let me turn you over to our host for the next part of the webinar, Dr. Cherry Solis.
Thank you, Tom. After listening to Dr. Cacho's lecture, I have just classified myself as 1.25 level. I am receiving a lot of messages. They want copies of your lecture. I would just like to remind our members, we are on FB Live. And immediately, you will have a video copy of the entire lecture for your viewing pleasure. So no need to ask for a copy of their lectures. So moving on, we OBGYNs are very innovative and resourceful, and our mother society, the POGS, will always heed the call for progress and development. As a testament to this, POGS is launching a new and improved POGS website. So I would like to invite back our beloved President, Dr. Cristia Padolina, to formally launch the countdown to our new, improved website.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry Solis. And at this point in time, let's have a feel-good for this one. And I'd like to take down our members down memory lane. So could I have the first slide? This is the Board of Trustees of 2017. This is during the presidency of Dr. Roger Menjola, And it was my first time to be included in the POGS BOT as a board of trustees. Part of my role as PRO was the first launching of the POGS website. So I consider this a milestone. Together with Dr. Cherry Solis as the PRO right now, you would be able to see the launching that was done during the mid-year convention in Cavite. This was hosted by the POGS Southern Tagalog chapter, and therefore I am quite happy that the theme then was Go Pinay, You've Got the Power. Because definitely, fast forward in the future, 13 years hence, we are now currently doing the uploading of the new phase of the website. Next, please. This was the newsletter then, and we have bold dreams for 2020 as the PODS newsletter will go digital and will be attached to the new POGS website. Next, please. Please take note, I'd like to give note that the head of the ICT then is Dr. Laura Tansenko. She was my partner then. And the title of that article was POGS in the Net. It was the first time that we were educating our members on how to navigate and how to open the website. So definitely we have the same goal, same advocacy. And can I have the last slide? This was my first article in the newsletter. Big dreams coming into reality. And I would like to thank the following people who are making this dream come true for all our members. The head of the ICT, Dr. Ronald Cacho, our PRO, Dr. Cherry Solis, and part of the website committee, of course, other than the members that have been mentioned by Dr. Cacho, is our board secretary, Dr. Pilar Lagmanti. Therefore, big dreams coming to reality. We are now realizing connectivity. We are realizing limitless information from POGS to members, and we are now being environmental friendly. So indeed, this is a milestone for POGS, the launching of our new reinvigorated POGS website. So let's now begin and start the countdown, members, and usher in our website. Hashtag Virtual POGS, our new online normal. Let's begin the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Our new website. Congratulations! It's now live, brought about by our ICT committee headed by Dr. Cacho. Please navigate and enjoy being connected to PODS.
Thank you, Dr. Padolina. Once again, our POGS website is now live. Change, as they say, is the law of life. Sometimes change is frightening, especially if you talk about technological changes for non-techie Jurassic individuals like us. To help us navigate our new POGS website, let me call back the chair of our POGS Committee on ICT, Dr. Cacho. We will go through the new POGS website. Take it away, Catch.
Hello, ma'am. Good morning again. And welcome to the new POGS website. Okay, this is a daunting task because we need to insert many portals for the different functionalities that we require from our members and from our mother organization. This is the face. This is the landing page of the new website. It has the following taskbar. You will see here the home, wherein you are being welcomed, and you have also about us. Here, it contains the mission, vision, core values, the POGS hymn. You can download that, official logo, organizational chart, board of trustees, past presidents, regional directors, and committees. And one of the new features of the POGS website is a members portal. You can log in at the right upper corner, and we will introduce that in the following days. Okay, so we will just talk about the mechanics of how to log in, because members have the privilege to download materials in the e-library, in the electronic library, and can also access some of the clinical practice guidelines present in the members-only platform. We have membership forms. You can access your database. You can pay. Well, we are envisioning that we can pay now online through these portals and the different subspecialties. Meetings such as postgraduate courses, local events, and international events are also posted in the website. And the annual convention, which will be highlighted later on by our committees in the hybrid convention. Education, we also envision to educate our patients. This is a dedicated platform or a portal to place our education materials for our patients. And also there is a dedicated taskbar for PBOG announcements, like the different instructions to the examinees, the qualified examinees for diplomate and junior, the part 1 examination. Research, our PJOG has a dedicated platform or portal in our website. Okay, CREED has a dedicated platform portal also, and we link also to the to our father organization, the Philippine Medical Association. As you can see, it has a new face. You can click on the following features, and also we have here the social media. We have links also to our official social media accounts. We have the official Facebook page, and we also have now a Twitter, an official Twitter page, which is one of the lectures next run on the during the webinar 2.0. We will teach you how to tweet, because Twitter right now, I have to say, Twitter is the best portal for exchange of information among members. We also have Instagram. We have the official Instagram social media account, wherein we can share our pictures during the hybrid convention, the regional events. Okay, so enjoy the new POGS website, explore it, but there will be some improvements also. This is still a work in progress. Let us know what we can improve on to this new POGS website. Back to you, Dr. Cherry Solis.
Thank you, Katch. I see that we have maintained our green color of POGS. Also,
Yes.
in past experiences, the busiest time for the website is when it's time for examination, because
Yes.
our candidates are getting their requirements. And I would like to tell our members that we have not yet put up how they can access the members portal, because they will be given their own passwords later on.
Yes.
And I'm happy that you have links to, of course, the Facebook, because that's what we started before. But I don't know yet Twitter and Instagram, so I will be waiting for your lecture on that to make
Yes.
you a Twitterist later on. So I will leave you now, Dr. Cacho.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Cacho, for our new website. And now, moving on, another most daunting task of our society is the annual convention. As you all know, it's the annual convention, the highlight of our lives in POGS. It's the avenue for us to update ourselves and, on the side, socialize with our colleagues. And the superwoman who took this challenge face on will help us navigate the first ever POGS Hybrid Annual Convention, I would call the subcommittee chair of the POG's Virtual Arrangements and Technical Systems, that is VART, another Maria Socorro like me, Dr. Maria Socorro Bernardino, and to join her will be our esteemed Vice President and overall Chair of the POG's Annual Hybrid Convention, Dr. BJ Cuenca. BJ, Sox, it's your time.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Socorro Socorro M. Solis. Thank you for the introduction.
Dr. BJ,
Okay, I think I will proceed to the navigation of the pre-convention website. Just to give you some sort of history, the hybrid convention actually was conceived during the time of the lockdown, wherein we didn't really know whether the convention will push through. And to define what a hybrid convention is, the hybrid convention is actually going to be conducted by combining two different elements. These are the live events and the virtual platform. Our objective is to make the delegates as well as the participants who are there in their homes feel the engagement of being in a physical convention and celebration without compromising safety. Now, the hybrid convention will be executed again in two parts. The first is that of the pre-convention website, and this is what you are seeing right now in your screen. The pre-convention website, which is a dynamic website and serves as an update for announcements and videos for the upcoming convention. This pre-convention website will be is already up and is accessible and will be available until November 8th. Wherein after that it will be changed into the annual convention virtual lobby. Now let's start to navigate the pre-convention website. One of the highlights of the pre-convention website is actually the LED wall. This LED wall, the same as what we see in our face-to-face conventions, is made up of a playlist. And this playlist is where you can choose the videos that you will see. In September, we will be seeing a number of uploads of videos, especially when the scientific program and the pre-convention webinars are already available in terms of all the details and their speakers. Another feature of the pre-convention website is the chat box. You press the messenger icon here and the chat box appears. If you don't have a messenger, then you can use it and continue as a guest. The chat box actually gives us auto replies or addresses most commonly asked questions about the hybrid convention, such as how to register, and then eventually you would have an answer. If the questions would not be within the questions that can be selected, then you can type in your question and you will receive the answer within the day. You minimize the chat box by clicking the minus sign. Now this home tab here helps us navigate. So for example, you want to do a registration, you click on the registration tab and eventually your landing page will be the main or general registration page wherein you have several options to choose from when you want to register. Either you want to register when you're free, and when you want that certain option, just click the icon here, click to register, and that brings you to a page wherein you will now fill in the registration. So if you want to go back, if you're done with the registration and you want to go back to the main page, you can either click the home button or the POG seal button here, and that brings you back to the main convention page. Now, this convention page is actually dynamic. And when I say dynamic, updates or changes will be shown or will be seen every 2 weeks, especially when September comes in. And if you want to view, for example, the pre-convention webinars, you just click in the tab of the pre-convention webinars, and eventually, once you have all the data about the different subspecialties, then you just have to click the icon of their seal, and then you'll go into the details. Going back again, for those who want to submit their research, you just click on the abstract tab, and it will appear here the guidelines for the submission of the abstract, and you can actually submit your abstract using the pre-convention website. Once I want to go back again to the main page, I click on the POG seal, and then when I want to access the site program, which will be available next month, and then you can browse it here. If you want to see the organizing committee, well, as of now, we don't have the pictures yet, but in time, we'll be showing you also the pictures. So come November, we will now be seeing the annual convention virtual lobby. Let me show and shift my screen to the virtual convention.
Socks, can they go to the exhibit area? The favorite part? The
Yes,
favorite
Dr.
part of our conventioners?
Actually, yes, Doctor. With the graphic representation of the virtual lobby, definitely will be showing you one of the highlights of the hybrid convention, and that is your virtual lobby, virtual exhibits.
Yes. So it's as if they are actually visiting an
Yes,
exhibit booth.
yes, at the benefit of staying in their homes safely
Yes,
there.
yes, I see.
Yes po. So this is actually a graphic representation of what you might see in November. Just an example, but not it, will be surprising you by the time comes. So basically, the virtual lobby will be composed of two LED screens. The first LED will show videos and announcements and some tidbits of the opening ceremonies and the annual business meeting, as well as pictures of the diplomates and fellows and some of the POGS activities that happened in 2020 or during the year. The second LED will show you the scientific program in detail for each day of the convention from November 10 to 14. When you want to watch the plenary sessions, you just click on the plenary icon and you will go into the plenary hall virtually. Now, the plenary sessions will be in live hybrid form, meaning the speakers will be there in the venue and we will do it hybrid. If you want to watch the simultaneous sessions in the afternoon, you just press on or click on the session hall tab or the session hall door link, which will bring you to the session halls. In our program, we have 3 simultaneous sessions in the afternoon. And this is the favorite part of the delegates, as Dr. Cherry has mentioned. When you want to go to the exhibits area, which coincides with the forum in the face-to-face convention, you just click on this door link of the exhibits, and we'll show you a general landing page of the virtual exhibits. And when you want to go to each booth, you just click on that booth, and this will appear. One booth will actually show you several information. They are actually equipped with an AVP that will show a TV that will show their AVPs. Also, they will be capable of showing their products And another feature of the virtual exhibit is that you will be able to communicate with the pharma through a chat box. And in that chat box, whatever you want to convey or whatever you want to inquire of, they will be answering. And most of the exhibits or the booths will have the capability of having games also. So you're just like in the forum, but then you're doing it virtually. And I'm pretty sure the pharma companies will be coming up with several prizes or whatever that we often get during the face-to-face convention.
You know, I have been receiving several messages about the activities like the induction of the diplomates, induction of the fellows, the fellowship night. So everything is still being worked on, and we will update them on
Yes
how
po,
we're going to
Doctor.
go about.
Yes po, Dr. Cherry. For the opening ceremonies, the closing ceremonies, as well as the annual business meeting, it will be conducted live hybrid. Like the town hall meeting that we had recently, that is actually a live hybrid program wherein the participants will be there physically in the venue, but it will be broadcasted live via several portals.
Okay. Also, I have been receiving messages about those who are already free for the convention. I still tell them they still have to register, even if they are free.
Yes, Doctora. Actually, when they have already paid their annual dues, and I think they still have time because the deadline is on August 31, they would still have that free registration. But all the delegates, whether they are free or they will pay, should go to the annual convention pre-convention website and uh, undergo the registration there.
I think I can call back Dr. Cacho if there are questions for both our websites, the new POGS website and the hybrid convention website. If there are any questions. Okay. So most of my questions were with Dr. Sox because of the annual convention.
Mhm.
Were some questions streamed to you, Dr. Cacho, about the new website?
About the ano to? There's a question on email. Dedicated email na pogs.com.ph. We will work on that.
Website-based email.
Yeah, website-based email. I have to talk to our website host about this.
Uh-huh. And I also received questions about, are we going to conduct CME or examinations on our folks website?
Mhm. Yes.
There is a capability to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If there are no, may question pa ba tayo? Wala na yata akong question dito sa listahan ko eh. Is Dr. Cuenca already on board? Can we call him now? Dr. Cuenca? Oh, sige. I will now call on our Vice President, overall Chair of the Annual Convention, Dr. Benjamin Cuenca, or Doc BJ. Welcome, BJ. So, if Dr. Cuenca cannot have a good connection, we will have to proceed to our closing remarks. And to officially close our today's webinar, we will have to call back Dr. Cristia Padulina to deliver a formal closing remarks.
Okay, in behalf of our best Vice President, Dr. BJ Cuenca, I would like to congratulate the committee headed by, of course, our PRO and Dr. Cacho for relaunching our POGS website. And of course, Dr. BJ Cuenca, together with Dr. Sox Bernardino, as they ushered in the website for the POGS annual convention. I would like to say congratulations, thank you, and to all our members, this is a work in progress. The POGS website will not be successful if you do not participate. So we are enjoining each and every member of all our POGS membership from Luzon to Mindanao to please access the website so that we are able to get connected to each other. Again, congratulations. Let me now.
Thank you, Kristia. Baka kala nila nakalimutan natin. We will call back Dr. Cacho for the winners of our Go, Go, Go! Win a Gadget.
So, as they are preparing the list of the winners, actually we have winners for the 5 questions. For question number 1, the answer is 3-point lighting setup. Okay, yung 3-point lighting setup, you have the key light, fill light, and backlight. Second question is from Dr. JJ Hermar. The answer is share screen. Tama, no? And the third question is also from Dr. Hermar. You have to be an attending physician with valid PRC ID. And the fifth question, the different platforms, Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, and Microsoft Teams. I hope I got that right. And the winners. For game 1, first winner for the first question is...
Teka muna, Catch.
Yes.
Sasabihin mo ba kung anong napanalunan nila?
Ay, oo, it's a gadget, ma'am.
Anong gadget?
Thank you, Wyatt, for providing us the prizes for today's webinar. It's a very, very important gadget to boost your connectivity. Kahit malayo ka sa modem mo, you can go to your 3rd floor with still with good Wi-Fi signal. So it's a Wi-Fi extender. It's a Wi-Fi extender. So, can we announce now the winners?
Pero tayo, hindi tayo kasali. So,
Of course. Baka bigyan tayo ni Jeline. Anyway, the first winner for question number 1 is, drum roll, Dr. Eileen Garcia. Dr. Eileen Garcia. For question 2, ito yung share screen, ano? Dr. Marie Carmina Iturralde.
Region 3.
Oo. CLC, Dr. Marie Carmina Iturralde. Question 3. Paano pala nila kukunin to? Di ba, they will be notified by our pharmaceutical partners. Question 3. Dr. Rowella Joyce Sige. Dr. Rowella Joyce Sige. Question 4. I hope marunong kayong gumamit ng Wi-Fi extender, pero meron naman siya. You have the procedure in the brochure. It really helps if you have a modem that is at one point lang para to boost your Wi-Fi signal in your bedroom. Ganyan. Question 4, Dr. TBLRP, kung sino man siya. Dr. TBLRP. Doctor's license with PRC. And question 5, nanalo na yan, pakipalitan. Dr. Cherry Solis, ang nanalo. Hindi.
Hindi nga ako marunong gumamit ng mga gadget mo, kaya level 1.25 lang ako eh.
Okay. So we will announce the winner in the Facebook page, ma'am.
Facebook page natin sa POGS FB.
Yes, ma'am. Wait lang. Meron na. Parating na ang winner. So don't forget, September 10, we have exciting lectures, maximizing Google, paano gamitin ang Google ng mabuti, live tweeting about Twitter, social media in medicine. How do you maximize the use of social media in medicine, in obstetrics and gynecology? And lastly, there will be a lecture on telemedicine consult. Okay? Okay, so we will post the winner in our FB page kasi dalawang beses siyang nanalo para naman we can give chance to others. Okay, so we will announce the last winner in our FB page. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cacho.
Ayan, we have the winner na po.
Okay.
So the last winner is
twice.
in the slides. Ayan, ito na pala. Ma'am, kindly recap.
First, question number 1, Dr. Eileen Garcia is the winner. Question number 2, Dr. Maria Carmina Iturralde. For question number 3, Ruela Joyce Sige. Question number 4, PBLRP. Ito yung sinasabi natin kanina, sana we change the name of our Zoom account so we could identify them. And for question number 5, Dr. Maria Dolores Mercado. So congratulations everyone, and we will just get in touch with you on how you can claim your prizes. Thank you again, Dr. Cacho, and to the team, ICT, to our President, Vice President, and to our pharma sponsor, all the hardworking members. And again, we invite you to our upcoming webinars. And don't forget to visit our website, both the original new POGS website and the convention website. So thank you everyone and keep safe. Goodbye.
The new year came in with a lot of promise, the perfect vision of 2020. POGS was reaping the success of hosting the AFOG Congress in 2019, which has brought newfound pride in its talent and its ability to be competitive, to be recognized in the international community.
The newly appointed organizing committee was in high gear, set to bring forth a new and interesting Congress. We were stopped in our tracks by COVID-19 and the lockdowns.
Truly, the time of the pandemic is unique in the sense that it has made an impact on the very fabric of how we live our lives.
As a citizen, a doctor, and as a member of POGS,
we continue to modify and adapt to changing times. Individually, we continue to grapple
with the increasing number of cases
as we deal with our own fears and insecurities.
The society has been dynamic and at the forefront
in updating relevant information and in leading members.
Being expeditious in providing the best clinical practice guidelines
to ensure that our health, be it physical or mental.
Likewise, our patients are our utmost priorities.
This year, for the 74th Annual Convention,
the society will face up to the challenges ahead.
With the able leadership of our President, Dr. Cristia Padolini,
and the tenacity of the Vice President and overall Convention Chair, Dr. Benjamin Cuenca.
POGS is very proud to announce that come November,
we will conduct a hybrid convention of equal caliber to our normal Congress,
but more attuned to our present situation.
As the saying goes, when confronted with a challenge,
you have three choices.
You can either let it define you,
let it destroy you, or you can let it strengthen you.
This year, we celebrate POGS resiliency as we rise above and beyond the threat of SARS-CoV-2.
In this pandemic time, we find our relevance and prove our resolve to stay afloat as one POGS.
Together, we shall overcome. 3 cheers, 1 POGS.
Together, we are one. 3 cheers, 1 POGS.
3 cheers, 1 POGS. 3 cheers, 1 POGS. 3 cheers, 1 POGS.
3 cheers, 1 POGS.
3 cheers, 1 POGS.
3 cheers, 1 POGS.
3 cheers, 1 POGS.
3 cheers, 1 POGS.
On behalf of the focused and driven members of the organizing committee of the 2020 POGS Annual Convention and 74th Anniversary Celebration, it is my pride and pleasure to invite you to join, witness, and enjoy the first ever hybrid annual convention of the Society, which is set to happen on November 10 to 14. Inspired by the theme Enhancing the Spirit of Collaboration in Women's Health, the Scientific Program Committee has lined up an exciting list of lecture topics that will surely keep you glued and tuned in. This will be delivered by our own local experts, to be joined in by at least 6 international speakers from various subspecialties. Interestingly, the 9 subspecialty societies and 5 affiliate societies recognized by the POGS will join us in October in a series of webinars that will be staged on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Ang POGS ay hindi ako. Ang POGS ay hindi ikaw. Ang POGS ay tayong lahat. In this time of pandemic, we will win the battle together. We will stand as one. We will rise as one POGS. So please, join us in our first ever 2020 Hybrid Convention. Hashtag 2020 POGS Hybrid. See you all. Salamat po.
bukas na di mapigilan, di na lang sabayan. Bawat bukas ay bago, malaki man o maliit ito. Bukas lalaban o may matutuklasan o may biyaya na aalagaan. Bukas ang alam mo, di na totoo. Bukas kaya na niya, kahit na mag-isa. Bukas na pinagdasal mo pa ay narito na. Bawat bukas ay bago, malaki